Hey everybody, how's it going? Hope you're having a lovely day. Welcome to today's episode of How You Getting Effed. I'm your host, Louis Rossman. Today we're going to be talking about Oregon's right to repair law and the difference between a right to repair law and the South Park Cable Company CEO version of a right to repair law with regards to its practical enforcement. I'm going to be going over an example here from Mr. Stephen Ryan, who has a channel called Ryan Labs. He's a great technician. He's got a great channel, and I gotta say, he actually has some of the optimism that I had back 11 years ago when I was pushing right to repair. He believes in it, and he believes that there is change that can occur in the world. I still do, but I gotta say, the optimism I had in 2014 versus now, slightly different. People will ask me, why is it that I say that my company is focusing on data recovery now rather than going back to doing repairs again? Because right to repair passed, which means I should be able to get access to diagrams, schematics, parts, chips, all that other stuff I need to do my job. And again, there's right to repair, and then there's right to repair. And unfortunately, at this point in time, whether it's because of manufacturers not obeying the law is not being enforced, or them just using loopholes and doing that thing, that malicious compliance of I'm going to do exactly what you asked for, which is give you the same garbage access that we give to our authorized service providers, because they get nothing either. We live in a time of more right to repair than right to repair. Mr. Stephen Ryan at Ryan Labs, he bought this really cool piece of test equipment on eBay. It came damaged. It is what it is. You know, sometimes you buy stuff and it doesn't come well packaged. People who resell equipment don't always package it very nicely. No big deal. So he reaches out to the company and wants to buy something to be able to fix the broken test equipment, which I think is a reasonable thing to do. Cami Research makes test equipment. They test cable harnesses. On average, the type of person who's going to buy test equipment is going to be a repair technician. So they are making tools for technicians. Keep that in mind. What do technicians usually do? Repair things. Do you think a company that makes tools that are used for testing and repairing things would be for right to repair or against right to repair? Well, listen to this. This is the phone call that he had with someone who is higher up at the company.
You could be buying these things off the market and selling them and making a profit at it, and that's taking business away from us, and I don't like that idea either. So I think I'm going to hold off on this at the moment, and if you want to send me some data. Yeah,
I was just being polite and courteous here, trying to extend a conversation on the right to repair here, hoping that you would see what's required. Basically, the law requires service manuals if you have them, schematics, diagrams, descriptions.
Okay.
If he buys something that's broken and then he fixes it, he could make a profit, which takes money away from us. They're saying the quiet part out loud. We don't want you fixing our stuff, because if you fix our stuff, they're not going to buy something new from me. What a bag of dicks the people that work at this company are. Fuck you. Now, when you think about what this person said to Stephen, you'd think that Stephen would have him dead to rights. He's right there saying, we don't want to make anything to fix our products available, because that may mean that people won't buy new products from us. And you got a right to repair law in Oregon that you'd think would mean something. Let's go over what this law actually means. When you read this, they sent a letter back to Stephen Ryan in response to his complaint. The Department of Justice has received a complaint regarding your business, which appears to concern compliance with the state's recently enacted right to repair law. Effective January 1st, 2025, the Act requires manufacturers of most consumer electronic equipment to make repair tools, parts, documentation available to consumers and independent repair providers. We kindly ask that you renew your current policies and practices to ensure they comply with Oregon's new law. That was sent to Cami Research as well as Stephen Ryan on June 10th. And then on June 12th, Stephen got this letter. Thank you for the information you provided. Information the public shares helps us identify patterns of unlawful business practices that harm consumers. We regularly investigate and prosecute violations of consumer protection laws on behalf of the state of Oregon. We also share information with other agencies and use what we learn to help educate the public and help pass laws that better protect consumers. We review the information that you provided and determine that the issues raised by your complaint are outside of our authority. Therefore, with this letter, we are closing our file. So the state passed a law. A company broke the law. The customer went to the Department of Justice in that state to ask the law to be enforced because the law is written without a private right of action. Private right of action means that if a company does something that breaks the law, I can sue them. No private right of action means that if a company breaks the law, I have to go to the Department of Justice or the Attorney General and ask them to do something. And if the Attorney General of the Department of Justice does this, I get a letter back that looks like this. On top of it, the company actually sends this garbage. Hello, Stephen. This concerns receipt of your emails and phone messages you left with my staff. This is from someone at Cami Research. It looks like the president of the company. Submitting your complaint to the Attorney General's offices in the various states for which a right to repair law has been enacted is the proper way to handle this matter. I know you've just begun this process already because earlier this week I received correspondence from the Oregon Attorney General's office, to which I've submitted my response. I expect other states to send similar correspondence, and I will respond appropriately to those as well. Having taken this action, your case has been made, and following my responses to the Attorney Generals, these states will render their decisions on the course of action to be taken. I must emphasize, however, it is not acceptable for you to contact me or my office with threats or ultimatums, and I expect this to stop immediately. Should you persist in this, I will include your prior emails and recording of any future phone calls you make to my office as part of my response to the Attorney General's offices, and will, in addition, initiate legal proceedings against you and your business for harassment. He called your company asking for parts to fix something that he purchased. And this is the thing that fucking kills me. This is the shit that BWE did. This is the thing that DCS did. This is what all shitty small businesses do. They play the victim. You're not a fucking victim. Somebody bought your product used. They didn't ask you for something for free. They asked if you would sell him something to be able to fix his property. And you said no, because that may take away our profits from selling a new one. You're a dick. He did not threaten you. He politely asked for something, and when you said no, then he politely informed you that the law says that this is something you have to do. Stephen Ryan is not a man that runs down little old ladies in the street. He doesn't walk around punching people. He doesn't walk around with 3 guns strapped to him threatening to kill people. He asked if you would provide a part to something that he bought that was broken. Nobody's threatening you, bro. I promise. They're just asking you to be a decent fucking human being, which apparently you're not. After that, they asked if you follow the law, which you also said you wouldn't, which technically is not a bad decision to make because it seems like the law don't mean shit in the state of Oregon anyway. Review the information you provide and determine that the issues raised by your complaint are outside of your authority. Whose fucking authority is it, Oregon? It ain't his. He doesn't have a private right of action. It ain't yours because you don't want to do your job. That's it for today, and as always, I hope you learned something. And to Cami Research, you make good products. Stephen Ryan said himself in his video and in his comments that your products are well put together and that he likes them. If you had simply sold him a part at a fair markup that allows you to make some good money off of it, he would have been an evangelist for your product. Instead of doing that, you decided to be a piece of shit. So if people don't like you as a result of that, that's not on Stephen Ryan. That's in how you treated Stephen Ryan. You had an opportunity to create an evangelist for your company. Instead, there's likely a lot of people that never want to buy your shit ever again. You did this to yourself. You're not a victim. You're not being harassed. You're simply living the consequences of your actions. That's it for today. And as always, I hope you learned something. And if somebody from Cami Research is watching this, fuck you. Up yours, asshole. Hey everybody, how's it going? Hope you're having a lovely day. Welcome to today's episode of This is Blackberry the Kitten. I'm your host, Louis Rossman. Today we're going to be discussing the difference between right to repair and the South Park Cable Company CEO, right to repair, because they're very different things. People have asked me, why is it that I'm focusing my business more on data recovery now rather than going back to repair now that all these right to repair bills have passed? Blackberry, if you knock over the camera again, I'm replacing you with Walter the dog. Blackberry, go over here. The kitty goes over here. The kitty goes over here. The kitty goes over here. Or over here, but not over there. The kitty goes over here. The kitty goes over here. The kitty goes over here. Sit, kitty. Sit. Sit, kitty. Kitty, sit. Sit. Do not go over there. Do not knock over the camera. Do not nuzzle the camera. Do not knock over the tripod. Don't knock over the stand. You do not touch the camera. You touch the table. You touch this. You can touch my arm. You can bite my arm, but you cannot knock over the camera. Not again. Kitty stays over here. Kitty stays over here. Fucking terrorist. No! Stay over here! The kitty stays over here! Good kitty. Good kitty. I've had to redo this video 5 times. You're not going to do it for a 6th. People wonder, they look at the BWE video. Louis, why is it that the sun is setting behind you before you finish the video? Because my cat is a terrorist. That's why. Okay, the kitty stays over here. The kitty stays over here. Good kitty. And that's the thing that fucking kills me at this point. You need laws to ask people to be decent fucking human beings. And no, Barry, no! No! No knocking over the camera, kitty! No! Not again! Not again! No, kitty! You sit! You sit! I will not let the sun go down while I'm doing this fucking video again! No, kitty! Little terrorist. Stay. Every time she walks across the fucking table, she knocks on the camera tripod, she knocks it over. So many times this camera can drop before it stops working.